Hi. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the annual Apple Product Awards. In this show, we are going to be going through every Apple product that has been released in 2022, and we're going to rank them from best to worst. So in order to do this, I've pulled up a tier list template here, and we are going to be determining which is the best Apple product of 2022. And along the way, we're going to recap and talk about some of the products that I've had a ton of fun or not so much fun reviewing this year. Now, before we get into this, I do want to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, Squarespace, simply the best tool for creating your beautiful online presence. Okay, so the way that I think makes the most sense for figuring out the best Apple product of 2022 is to go chronologically. So we got to go back in time to the March event. And that means, of course, our first product is the Mac Studio. And look at it. I mean, wow. What a machine. Now, the Mac Studio and I have a bit of a storied past because it's a machine that I hold very dear, but it's also one that I went a little teensy bit viral in the tech community for breaking the news that they used modular SSDs, but then won't let us actually upgrade them. And that was a little unfortunate. So for that reason, I think this isn't gonna be eligible for our top slot. I'm gonna put this down in A tier because, well, it's pretty darn good, but there's just a bit of an aftertaste, right? It doesn't quite fit that top slot. And in fact, speaking of not fitting our top slot, the Studio Display, which is very small for some reason. There it is. Wow, I'm actually using one right now, and this is a product that I honestly think is pretty good with one big exception, and that is the price. This product is priced completely out of the realm of reality. And I know that there aren't a ton of other 5K displays out there, and by that I mean any, but at the same time, it's $1,600 for a display with no height adjustment built in, and it's using the same display panel more or less that we've had on iMacs for several years now. In fact, I even made my own Studio Display for less than half the price by cannibalizing an old 5K iMac, which is actually also right in front of me. So I can't in good conscience say that this is even an A tier product. So for that reason, I think B tier? Does that seem fair? Let me know in the comments below if that seems fair. Now, next up on our tier list, we have the iPad Air 5th generation. This is one that I quite honestly forgot about. Yeah, no, I completely forgot that happened this year. They gave it the M1 chip. Oh yeah, they gave it center stage. It's got 8 gigs of RAM. It's got extended dynamic range for video up to 30 FPS. Wow. That's not that big of an upgrade. So for that reason, I think this is going to have to go into C tier. Next up, we have another product that I think might have a similar fate, and that is the iPhone SE 3. I mean, you can put a new chip, you can put 5G in it, but that doesn't make this thing all that compelling. And at that new price point of $430, I personally think it's hard to justify when you can buy an iPhone 8 for literally $100. So for that reason, that's another C tier, in my opinion. Actually, it might be D. I know there are people that are going to disagree. I'll probably get some comments saying, no, Luke, the iPhone SE 3 is great, but I'm doing it. You can't stop me. It's freedom of speech, baby. So now let's move over to WWDC, where we got two big things: the new MacBook Pro and the new MacBook Air. Now, we'll start with the MacBook Pro because when I say new, what I really mean is C tier. I don't think that this MacBook Pro is actively bad, but it's certainly not really accomplishing anything, right? So the new MacBook Air with the M2 chip, this is honestly a fantastic laptop. It has been one of my favorite products of the last 5 years, I would say. It's super thin, it's super light, and the addition of MagSafe means that you can actually charge your device while using both of the USB-C ports. So you do get additional functionality in addition to additional performance. That's a lot of additions. So for me, I'm going to addition this into the A tier. That's my take. What do you guys think? But I'll tell you what would be an unquestioned S tier product, if it actually existed, is a 15-inch MacBook Air. That exact design, but blown up a little bit. In fact, it's so good that I've been using today's video sponsor, Squarespace, to advocate on its behalf for quite some time. Squarespace's customizable templates and easy-to-use graphical interface let me move and modify elements, adding and removing things as necessary, and ensuring that my website runs smooth and looks great. I've even used their email campaigns to create eye-catching updates to send out to my loyal 15-inch MacBook Air fans. I mean, look, it's just the obvious choice for so many MacBook fans out there, and I'm going to keep making these ads until Apple capitulates to my demands and puts it into production. And if you want to get started while we wait, check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to publish your website, go to squarespace.com/LukeMiani to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. And now let's get back into the tier list. So our next product here is the Apple Watch Series 8. This is one that I honestly did not buy. I didn't buy it. Oh yeah, that's right. They did the new temperature sensor. There's crash detection, if that actually works. The jury's still out on that one. And yeah, I think that's it. Wow, that's a whole lot of nothing. Here's my take on it. I think that this Apple Watch is a complete dud, right? It's barely an update. But that being said, the Series 7 was a pretty darn good Apple Watch. So this doesn't actually make it any worse, and it's not any more expensive, so I think that's a C-tier product. Introducing the new Apple Watch Series 8. It absolutely exists. You know what else exists? It's the Apple Watch SE, and oh boy, similar story here. So basically the only thing that's new is the back is not glass. It's like a recycled compost. No, it's not compost. Composite. That's the word that I was looking for. Great work, Luke. Anyway, that's a C-tier product. It's not any worse, and it's cheaper. So there you go. And that brings us to the big daddy, the Apple Watch Ultra. Look at it. You know what? I think I might keep this tile ludicrously big just to emphasize how ludicrously big the Apple Watch Ultra is. I've got it on my wrist right now. I honestly can tell you that I have loved this product. You used to have to pay $850 just to have your normal Apple Watch made out of titanium. Now it's made out of titanium and it's bigger, and it has 2 full days of battery life, and it has a Dive computer in it, which I've never used, but hey, it's there. I think this might be an A tier product, you guys. And you know what? I'm going to give this a tall A. You know, it's kind of inching towards the S tier. All right, so now it's time to move on to the iPhones, and I've broken these down into 4 chunks for each of the 4 iPhones. So we'll start with the regular iPhone 14. Now, this is a product that I don't like, okay? They gave it 1 extra GPU core, but the same chip as before. It's got the same screen, it's got the same design, it has crash detection, woo, but this is a complete nothing of an update. In fact, I don't even think that this would be worthy of being called an iPhone 13s, much less a whole number upgrade. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a D tier purely out of spite. And that brings us on to the iPhone 14 Plus, which you can't really tell is any bigger because they kind of look the same and there's no perspective, but don't worry about that. Okay, this is a product that I think makes sense for some people. But if it were my money on the line, I wouldn't buy a 14 Plus. I would just go out and get a used iPhone 13 Pro Max because you get the stronger stainless steel construction, you get the triple camera setup, and you get ProMotion. So for those reasons alone, I would skip the 14 Plus, but I'm going to actually give this a B tier because, whoa, whoopsie, relative to some of the other stuff that we've gotten so far, namely all of these Apple Watches and the iPad and the MacBook, I think the 14 Plus is a little bit more deserving than those. But you know what's even more deserving than that? Yeah, the iPhone 14 Pro. Now, I don't really know how to break up the Pro and Pro Max. So I think I'm just going to group them together because it's basically a matter of preference. And I think I'm ready to make a decision here that both of these phones can be placed in the S tier. I know, settle down, guys. Calm down. I know this is crazy, but I think that the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max are the best Apple products of 2022. And my tier list got a little messy because the Apple Watch Ultra is it's a little close. But given that the iPhone is a device that you use every day, all the time, I think that's got to take the cake. The Dynamic Island, I think, is a really innovative way to replace the notch. It makes that screen space up there actually useful. And housed within the Dynamic Island is a new front-facing camera that is fantastic. And on the opposite side, we have the new 48 megapixel camera that has blown my mind for a couple of months now. The camera systems, admittedly after they fixed that camera shake issue, are honestly fantastic. And when you couple that with the new colors, which I think are actually really fetching, as well as the new satellite connectivity, crash detection, and all of those other features, I think that makes this an S-tier product, which is rare for the third year of a design. So good job, Apple. At this point, you might think we're done, but there's actually a few things left. So we'll start off here with AirPods Pro 2. These are a really decent upgrade over the previous AirPods. And so I'm gonna even dare say put them in A tier. I know that might be a little bold, but they're just really, really good sounding. So next up, we have the M2 iPad Pro, and well, this is kind of a nothing burger. I'm gonna put this in C tier because if you were going to buy an M1 iPad, now you can just buy this instead, but it doesn't really offer a compelling reason to upgrade. Next up, of course, we've got the Apple TV 4K. This honestly is a pretty solid upgrade. There's not a ton of features, but what makes it really interesting is one, the remote is USB-C now, and two, you can buy it without Ethernet for a new low price of $130. And I think honestly, having a price that affordable all on its own puts this in the B tier. I mean, every time an Apple product is the same, gets a little better, and becomes cheaper, that's a good move. And that brings us on to the final product for our tier list. And you probably know that I've been saving this for last for a reason. That's right, it's the iPad 10th generation. This product, I can honestly say, I have despised. They took a good opportunity here to make an affordable, modern-looking iPad, and they just said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to price it too high, and we're going to cripple it. No dual-band Wi-Fi, no laminated display, no Apple Pencil 2 support, USB 2 speeds on the USB-C port for some reason. Like, what the hell are we even doing anymore, Apple? Get this out of my sight. I'm putting this all the way down in F tier. That's how much I hate this product. So, you know what? I didn't put anything in E tier. That might be a mistake. Let me know if there's anything that you would switch up. But this is my Apple tier list for 2022. This year, honestly, was kind of mid. I'm not going to lie. We had some great products. The Apple Watch Ultra, the Mac Studio, the iPhone 14 Pro. But apart from that, everything was either a complete nothing burger or just the tiniest, laziest spec bump. Nothing really mind-blowing or game-changing here, but honestly, can't complain. It's always fun talking about tech and talking about it with you guys. So thank you guys so much for joining me for this year's episode of the Apple Awards. And the award, I guess the award goes to the iPhone 14 Pro. Yay! Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.